Hello and welcome back to Ava and Ben's English Loft. I am Ava, broadcasting live from our cozy spot right here in New York City. And sitting across from me, looking exceptionally sharp today, is Ben. How are things, Ben?
Everything is great, Ava. Happy to be here. Though, I have a confession to make right at the start of our episode today.
Forget the textbooks. Learn real English with us. Welcome to the Loft. Oh, I love confessions. Did you finally buy those terrible shoes you were looking at last week?
No, those shoes are classic and I will buy them eventually. But this is about English. You see, lately my neighbors and colleagues keep asking me a very simple question. A question that should be easy, but somehow makes my brain completely freeze.
Okay, I am intrigued. What is this terrifying question?
They ask me, how was your day? Or, what did you do yesterday?
That is it? Just a regular old check-in about your day?
Yes, it sounds so simple. But every time someone asks me, I just stand there. My mind goes completely blank. I think to myself, well, I slept, I ate bread, I went to work, I came home. But saying that sounds so boring and robotic. I always feel like a complete beginner because I do not know how to connect the pieces naturally.
You know what? That is actually incredibly common. Talking about your daily routine or explaining what you did yesterday is one of the very first things you need to master as an English learner. But doing it in a way that sounds smooth, natural, and confident, that is a whole different story.
Exactly. So today I want to turn the tables. Usually you look at my mistakes, which is highly educational but also dangerous for my self-esteem. Today I want to interview you. I want you to tell me about your day yesterday, from the moment you opened your eyes to the moment you went to sleep.
Oh, a deep dive into the exciting life of Ava. I love it.
Perfect. I will ask the questions and you give us the optimal example. Our listeners can grab a notebook because we are going to break down the exact sentences, verbs, and transition words anyone can use to talk about their day like a pro. All right, Ava, let us start at the very beginning. The sun is rising over Manhattan. What is the first thing you do? How do we start the story?
Perfect. To start your story, you want to use a time marker or a transition word. I always start with something like, yesterday morning, I woke up around 7 a.m.
Hold on, let us pause right there. Woke up. That is the past tense of wake up, correct?
Exactly. I woke up. Now, here is a little secret for beginners. There is a difference between waking up and getting up.
Ah, yes, I know this trap. In Germany, we often say we stand up, which we literally translate to English. I used to tell my boss, yesterday I stood up at 6 o'clock, and he looked at me like I was a crazy person.
Exactly. If you say you stood up, it just means you were sitting down in a chair, and you stood up on your feet. It does not mean you left your bed. So for your morning, you use 2 steps. First, I woke up, which means you opened your eyes. Then, I got up, which means you physically climbed out of bed. For example, I woke up at 7 a.m., but I didn't get up until 7:15 a.m. because I was checking my phone.
That is brilliant and so relatable. I do that every day. Okay, so you got up at 7:15 a.m. What happens next?
Next, I need fuel. So I would say I went straight to the kitchen and made a fresh pot of coffee.
Made a fresh pot of coffee. That sounds much better than I cooked coffee.
Yes, please do not cook your coffee. You make coffee or you brew coffee. And while the coffee was brewing, I hopped in the shower and got ready for the day.
Ooh, hopped in the shower. I like that phrase. It sounds very energetic. Is it different from took a shower?
Not really. To take a shower is the standard, perfect phrase that everyone uses. To hop in the shower is just a casual, common idiom that means to get into the shower quickly. It adds a little bit of natural flavor to your speech. And then I got ready. This is a golden phrase for beginners. To get ready covers everything: putting on clothes, brushing your teeth, doing your hair. Instead of listing every single tiny action, you just say, I got ready.
That is a lifesaver. Instead of saying, I put on my pants, I put on my shirt, I brushed my teeth, you just wrap it all up in one nice package. I got ready.
Exactly. Keep it simple. So, to recap my morning in 3 simple sentences, I woke up early, I made some coffee, then I got ready for work. See how smooth that is?
Okay, so the morning is done. You are clean, you are caffeinated, and you are ready. What comes next in the middle of the day?
Well, yesterday was a Tuesday, so it was a busy day for me. Around 9 a.m., I headed out to do some work.
Wait, headed out? Where are you heading?
To head out just means to leave your house or to go somewhere. It is a very common alternative to I went out or I left. You can say, I headed out to the office, or I headed out to meet a friend.
I'm writing that down. I headed out. It sounds very native.
It really is. So, I headed out. And before I went to my meetings, I had to run a few errands.
This is a word I hear all the time in New York. Errands. E-R-R-A-N-D-S. What exactly is an errand, Ava?
An errand is a short trip you take to do a specific, necessary chore. For example, going to the supermarket, dropping off clothes at the dry cleaners, picking up a package from the post office, or going to the bank. Those are all errands, and the verb we always use with it is to run. We say, I need to run some errands, or I ran errands yesterday.
That is incredibly useful. So if I spend my Saturday morning going to the grocery store and the post office, I can just tell my friends, I spent the morning running errands.
Perfectly used, Ben. See? You are a natural.
Thank you, thank you. So, you ran your errands. What about lunch? I know you love lunch.
I really do. Lunch is the highlight of my day. Yesterday, I was short on time, so I grabbed a bite to eat at a little cafe downtown.
Grabbed a bite to eat. Another great expression. Let me guess, it means you ate quickly?
Spot on. To grab a bite, or to grab a bite to eat, means to get a quick, casual meal. You don't sit down for a formal 3-course dinner. You just grab a sandwich, a salad, or a slice of pizza.
Can I use this to invite someone? Like, do you want to grab a bite to eat after work?
Absolutely. It is the most common way to invite a coworker or friend for a casual lunch or dinner.
Excellent. So after you grabbed a bite to eat, what did you do in the afternoon?
After lunch, I went to a local coffee shop to finish some writing. I spent a couple of hours answering emails and working on my laptop. Then, around 4 p.m., I wrapped things up.
Wrap things up? Like a Christmas present?
Haha, not quite. To wrap up is a phrasal verb that means to finish a task, a meeting, or your workday. If your boss says, let's wrap up this meeting, it means let's finish it. So when I say, I wrapped things up around 4 p.m., it means I finished my work for the day.
Okay, so the workday is done, you wrap things up, now we are entering the evening. How do you describe the end of the day?
This is my favorite part of the day because it is all about relaxing. After I finished work, I headed back home. The traffic was a bit heavy, but I made it home by 5:30 p.m.
Made it home. That means arrived home, right?
Yes, to make it somewhere means to arrive successfully, especially if you had to travel or deal with traffic. You can say, I made it to the airport on time, or I finally made it home. Once I was home, I changed into some comfortable clothes and decided to unwind.
To unwind, that is unwind. I love that word. It sounds like you are a tight string that is finally relaxing.
That is exactly the visual image. Think of a clock that is wound up tight. To unwind means to release the tension, to relax after a stressful or busy day.
How do you usually unwind, Ava?
Well, yesterday I cooked a simple dinner. I made some pasta. And while I was eating, I caught up on my favorite TV show.
Caught up on. This is another phrasal verb that beginners find tricky. Can you explain that one?
Of course, to catch up on something means to do something that you have not had time to do recently. If you are 3 episodes behind on a TV show and you watch them all last night, you are catching up on the show. You can also catch up on sleep or catch up on work.
So if I sleep for 10 hours on Sunday because I was tired all week, I'm catching up on sleep.
Exactly. You are replacing what you missed. So, after I caught up on my show, I read a few pages of a book, and around 10:30 p.m., I went to bed and fell asleep immediately. And that, Ben, was my entire day.
Wow, Ava. Hearing you tell it like that makes it sound so logical and structured. When you connect it all together, it flows like a real story, not just a list of random facts.
That is the magic of using the right transition words and everyday phrases. You don't need complicated vocabulary to sound fluent. You just need the right building blocks.
Let us do a quick recap for our listeners and for me so I can finally answer my neighbors next time they ask me about my day. What are the 3 biggest takeaways from today's episode?
Lesson number 1. Use clear transition words. When you are telling a story about your day, chronological order is your best friend. Use simple words to connect your sentences. Start with yesterday morning, then use next, after that, in the afternoon, and finally. This gives your story a clear beginning, middle, and end, which makes it incredibly easy for the listener to follow.
Yes, that stops you from saying and then 50 times. What is lesson number 2?
Lesson number 2. Master the all-in-one phrases. As a beginner or intermediate speaker, you do not need to explain every single detail of your routine. Use umbrella phrases like I got ready instead of listing your bathroom routine. Use I ran some errands to cover your shopping and postal trips. And use I wrapped things up to show you finished your work. It keeps your story moving forward smoothly.
I love those. They save so much mental energy under pressure. And what is our final lesson?
Lesson number 3. Learn the verbs of relaxation. When people ask about your day, they love to hear how you spent your free time in the evening. Instead of just saying, I watched TV or I did nothing, use natural phrasal verbs like I headed home, I unwound by reading a book, or I caught up on my favorite show. It makes your English sound much more authentic and conversational.
This is absolute gold, Ava. I feel much more prepared now. The next time my neighbor asks me, Ben, what did you do yesterday? I'm going to look him in the eye and say, well, I woke up early, ran some errands, wrapped up my work by 5, and then I just unwound at home.
Look at you! That was absolutely flawless, Ben. 10 points to you.
Thank you. I'm learning from the best.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us in the loft today, everyone. Remember, talking about your day is all about practice. Try practicing right now. Think about 3 things you did yesterday and try to say them out loud using the phrases we discussed today.
Yes, give it a try. Stay curious, keep practicing, and we will see you in the next episode. See you, everyone.
Bye-bye!